Hello YouTube, I am back today with another collage with me, and today we are using Dwell magazine. Dwell is one of my favorite magazines to use for collage. It is an interior design magazine, and shout out to my wonderful friend Robin who grabbed a bunch of these for me when they were on the side of the road waiting for someone to take them, and Robin grabbed a whole bunch for me and has slowly been giving them to me over time because we live really far apart. So every time we see each other, she'll pass some my way. Sometimes she mails a few, but it's always such a pleasant surprise. So today I just wanted to make a couple pages in one of my art journals. So I'm just going through these issues. It's not a complete harvest, just kind of looking for things that I think will go nicely together or that kind of inspire me in the moment. I like Dwell because while of course it has a lot of home interiors and things like that, it also has a lot of really nice building structures because it's not just interior design but also like construction and exterior design, which is really nice. It also does have good text, which we will get into towards the end of this video, but definitely a magazine that I would recommend snagging if you ever see it on a free shelf. It has a lot of really great shapes, a lot of really great corners and edges, as well as sometimes some like small little hidden patterns and nice nature and landscaping imagery as well. So it's definitely a magazine that I enjoy digging into, and I need to go through these again before I finally recycle them, but I did find some good stuff to work with today, and we'll see what else I find. So I didn't show myself flipping through all of these magazines because they do get sort of repetitive after a while, and I didn't really think that would be interesting, but I showed you some of the places I found things that I'm going to end up using, and yeah, there was a big stack to work through, so that was really fun. And as you can see, I found a really nice pile of stuff: colors, patterns, construction. I was really drawn to these iPhones for some reason in this advertisement. I really like that the advertisement said it was the actual size, so I really knew I wanted to use one of those. And today we're working in this art journal, which I have really been tearing through this thing lately. I don't know what it is about this size that I just really love, but that is a journal from Magic of I will link them in the description. I got them ages ago, and yeah, I've just been loving working in it. It's just plain paper, very straightforward, but something about the size of it has really been speaking to me collage-wise lately. So yeah, there we go. We've got a phone. I love how that just, like, because it's the actual size, it just it looks like it's just a phone. So that was fun. And I found a couple colors that I thought would go nicely with it. So I'm just trimming those down to lay it out and kind of figure out what the best spacing for this will be. There were a lot of options for good things that could go with this, but I kind of tried to keep it a little bit similar to the color of that flower on the phone because it's so striking. I trimmed down this little corner to take out some of the white space and really focus on that burst of pink. That's a pro tip if you ever are looking to cut a straight line. Look on the back of the page or image that you're using, and if there's a line of text, you can usually use that to help you cut a straight line. I do that a lot. When there's not text on the back, it's a little trickier, but so I had this bottom right corner that was still in need of something, and I had found this really cool rainbow piece that I thought would just be like a nice touch. It's a really simple page, but I just like the colors of it, and I really like the focus being on that iPhone image. So now that I've finalized this layout, it is time to stick these pieces down one at a time in the order that I sort of laid them out. And as always, we are using, say it with me, photo mounting squares. I talk about these all the time, but they are my favorite adhesive in the world. I will link the ones that I use in the description, and they are just, they're just the thing that speaks to me the most. Lately, I've been using, actually, I usually link the ones from Michaels, but lately I've been using the Scotch brand ones a lot more often. I don't know, something about them, but there's benefits and drawbacks to both, and I'll talk about that a little later. And here is this page. Isn't that cute? I don't know, I kind of thought about adding text, but I like how it turned out. So now I'm going to work on the opposite page, and I had been thinking about this little burst of flower ever since I had taken it out of the magazine. I just thought that was so striking. I love that yellow, and I also thought it would look really cool next to this page, which is so overly purple. I wanted to do a ripped edge. So as you can see, I rip away from the image I want to use so that that white line will be on the page the piece that I'm discarding. That's a little pro tip for ripping. And to go in the background, I wanted something that was like a stark contrast to this floral sort of close-up. So I decided to go with this really industrial workspace, work building. And this is actually a Severance-inspired page of this art journal. I have been obsessing over Severance for the past couple weeks. I binge watched both seasons over a trip to Texas that I took, and in the week following, I watched both seasons in like less than 2 weeks. I'm pretty obsessed. I don't know what took me so long to watch it. I know I'm behind the ball, but I love it so much. I can't stop thinking about it. So I thought that it would be fun to make a lightly Severance-inspired page. Now, no spoilers here, but the gist of Severance is that there is a procedure that you can have done that separates your work life from your personal life. So while you're at work, you can't remember your personal life, and while you're out of work, you can't remember what you do at work. But that kind of inadvertently splits the person's personalities, or it's not that simple, but it basically creates two versions of yourself, and neither of them really know about each other. And it's kind of this concept of like, which one is the real you, but they're both you. But it's just, oh my God, it's so it's so good. And again, no spoilers, but my thought behind this piece of art was sort of the two sides, the innie and outie, if you will, and kind of where they meet and how they are kind of coexisting. So that was the thought process behind this page. And I wanted to put a quote on the page, so I found one that I really liked. It's from season 2. Again, no spoilers. I'm not going to tell you what it means, but it's kind of, to me, it symbolizes this like radical hope for things turning out well, even though it's the most absurd, dark, bleak circumstances, still kind of having this like insane optimism that might be born from a little bit of naivety, but it also is from a place of love and of wanting things to be better. So that's what the quote means to me. There's more to it, but I don't want to spoil, because if you haven't watched Severance, it's on Apple TV. I highly recommend it. I think it's going to sweep the acting Emmys for drama this year. I really do. And yeah, it's just so good. So right now I'm going through the issues and just looking for letters I can use. I ended up using only white and black, so either black on white lettering or white on black lettering. I have so much lettering, but sometimes it's just easier when you're looking through magazines, when you are like working out of a magazine, to just look for what's in there as opposed to going through the whole collection. So I wanted to lay the quote out right at that like separation place, that severed place between, if you will, between the two images. So I thought that was cute. And the quote just says, "See you at the equator." So that is the letters that we're going to glue down. And what I wanted to talk about with the photo mounting squares is that, especially when you do something small, like letters like this, you need to make the square smaller. And what I will say is the Michaels brand of photo mounting squares, you can rip them, which is really great when you just want a tiny piece like to go on a letter. The Scotch brand, I really like those, but you have to cut them. And that is just kind of more annoying, but I mean, it works. Both work. It just depends on, like, if I was doing a ton of letters, I would want to use the Michaels ones because the rip is so much easier than having to cut each of the little squares. Pardon my email alert that just went off. So that is kind of the difference between the two brands of photo mounting squares. I'll link both in the description so you can take a look. I also would recommend, if you're doing letters like this, just a little bit of glue stick on the back of each one does wonders. And I would put the glue on the letter as opposed to on the bottom surface, just because sometimes glue can cause wrinkling and buckling of magazine. But if you just put a little bit on the back of a letter, that is probably an easier solution. And I need to start using glue more, so look out for that soon. But anyway, this is the very end result. See you at the equator. I really love how that turned out. I think both these pages look so pretty next to each other. And thanks for hanging out. I'll see you soon. Bye.